you for this divine entanglement and for joining us in all of our divine offerings, whether it be our weekly Ascension Global radio shows, our monthly Sacred Temple teachings, our prayer groups, or our gathering in sacred community and sacred soul tribe gatherings. Our love and our light is with you always, and may you enjoy with great exaltation and honor in the path that you walk, in your unfolding in every day, that we create harmony and unity in our diversity and in our oneness. May we co-create for eons to come in this now concurrent moment, and we thank you so much for joining us. For more of our offerings and for more of our co-creations together, please tune into our website, http://ulwhc.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for being a part of our universal etheric chamber. And just know that in your everyday moment and unfolding of who you are as a Christed being of light, just know that you can connect with the etheric chambers anytime you want. It's remote, ever eternal, infinite, always active and aligned when you are. So you can always connect with the collective etheric chamber, which is all of the universal beings and councils, and call in the archangels, call in whatever beings of consciousness that you so desire to commune with and create those sacred relationships with. The etheric chambers are for the universal collective, for us to commune in sacred ways so that we allow ourselves higher intelligent potentialities to play, to muse as the Christed beings of light that we are. And you can use these chambers as a focal point, as an alignment point, to co-create with your collective, to infuse divine sacred light to the oceans, to infuse divine sacred light to the air, to the soils, to the wildlife, to all of the nature animals and the spirit animals that require our assistance and our realignment and our rebalancing. So just know that all that we offer forward is the divine entanglement that already is. We're just bringing awareness to it now, and so that we can start consciously co-creating as the masters of light that we are. We are ascending human beings. We are ascending masters. We are bringing forward the alchemy that we know to be sacred, to be true, to be benevolent and real within our hearts of love. And this is how we co-create the new light realities, the new light-filled realities through which the crystalline children co-create in their joy and creativity and liberation, if you will. For that's always been a key for me, is to feel that liberation that we can co-create as we are, divinely, creatively. That's our birthright. We're meant to. But to talk about divine sacred relationship, we must also bring in divine sacred will, the right use of will. And many years ago, I'm not sure how I came upon this book, but I came across a very beautiful book, and she's written many books through a channeled state. Her name is C.N. Rowan, and I'm going to, Tina's got the link up there for this book that I read about 8 years ago, I think. A beautiful book, written many, many years ago. And her name is C.N. Rowan, and it's a channel book, and it's called The Right Use of Will. This right use of will was channeled material on many of the Earth lifetime frequencies, and allowing us to understand how we have misused and created imbalance with our free will, with others' free will. And this has come up in the rebalancing of what we're moving through as a planetary species, as a galactic species, and how our galaxy, in all that we are as universal beings, are moving through our own multidimensional threadings and rebalancing of the right use of will. And how we move into our Christedness, our divine sacred relationship, is similitude and balance and harmonize with the right use of will, understanding the free will of all others, understanding to let go of the control and all of those things that we've used in past frequencies on and in the planetary lifetimes that we've walked within, and we've experienced, and we've cleared. Many of us have come forward, many of the client appointments, we've all done our clearing in the many lifetimes that we've been in balance with the right use of will. But this is a beautiful book that takes you through why we feel what we feel through those Akashic clearings, and why our emotions and our emotional body is moving through that healing as well. Because in the emotional healing of the balance of male and female, the use of right will, of our free will, and how to use it in a benevolent, Christed way, understanding the free will of all, understanding the free will of all life, understanding the will and the purpose of all life. This brings you into greater alignment of understanding why all things are sacred, why our existence is so very sacred. So it was a beautiful book, and it made a big difference and impact. And when I was awakened to this beautiful Divine Mother Mary frequency last week, and there's many communications since then on divine sacred relationship and the balancing as a planetary collective within the galaxy, and the Venusians came in, I was immediately reminded of this book to bring forward as another reminder, because it's all the same. It's all threaded in our healing as a planet, healing as a galaxy, because there's many other star systems with also these lessons of the right use of will. And so they're threaded in many ways, in many frequencies and many vibrations. So it was a beautiful book, and I had it included on my books page. There was a myriad of books that I had read during the many years of my awakening, all these beautiful books that had been profound in reminding quantumly of what I'm here to assist in reminding others. So her books were one of my books that I put on there, along with many, 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 many others, as beautiful books in the sacred remembrance of who we are and divine Christed beings, to create and co-create higher intelligent, lighter intelligent co-creations and new light fields. So to go into divine sacred living will always bringing in the idea and the rebalancing of our free will, balancing of our own free will to nourish our own souls, and to have all others nourish their own souls in their way, and have that be okay. And so our book, I don't have the link up there. Our website is going through maintenance right now, but our third book, The Dance with Creation, and along with our second book, Ascension Pathwork, those two books were really the process of beginning communication and sacred entanglement with the divine in all things, whether it be trees, whether it be your spirit guides and spirit teams, celestial healing teams, the archangels, ascended masters, whatever it might be that you desire to create that sacred communion with, that sacred relationship with. These two books were my perspective and my experiences in many of the channels and many of the downloads that I was gifted in those processes, and the opening to the elegant dance and how quantum and beautiful we are as Christed beings of light coming to an awakened state in human form, and how this human awakening changes all realities that we exist within. And we wanted to just align with the vibration of what consciousness mapping, and we have the YouTube video link up there as well that we created a couple of weeks ago with Jamie from Awakening Our Truth, put some beautiful visuals about divine sacred self-joy and how it's linked and entangled with sacred relationship. Because as we go within seeking our own sacred relationship within ourselves, we become ever more aware of our passions, our inspirations, our joys, our excitements, because when you're honoring yourself, when you're being sacred with yourself, those are just naturally innate frequencies that live through you. You let go of the resistance, you let go of those energetic blocks, those energetic beliefs, you transmute them into higher frequency beliefs and illumination beliefs. And we say higher just for the resonance speed factor of the frequency, because it's a speed, it's an oscillation. You vibrate at that oscillating frequency, therefore matching other oscillating frequencies at that similar vibration of light quotient, of God quotient. It's alchemic. You're the alchemist. Enlightening yourself to other frequencies of whatever it is you so desire. But you will feel it within excitement because it's a fast oscillating frequency. You will feel it within passion. It's a fast and loving and soft frequency. And you'll feel the difference. You'll feel into it because your multidimensional bodies are ready now. They're showing you with goosebumps. They're showing you with the alive state in your shoulders, just wanting to live in a pulled back state, opening your heart to creation. That trusting, unconditional trust when you're moving through decisions and choices, and just being really clear about, this choice feels really good for me. I'm masterful in this moment. It just feels really who I am. And you're feeling it within the center of your being, and you live from that heart-centered space. And it's a feeling, it's a sensation, and it's unmistakable. This allows for all of the joy and the excitement and the inspirations to live through you. And so those books will assist in those that prefer reading material and those that so desire to have the reading material available that helps thread them in a way that is more conceptual, if you will. And I've done some illustrations that we're creating as we speak that will assist in aligning with your divine sacred passion and living in divine sacred relationship within yourself first, within you and God first, that filters out to the all that is. And it's always aligned with your Christed self, because it's a sacred relationship. It's a sacred give and take. It's an infinity cycle of give and take and sacred intention. And it can be felt, and it's very beautiful when it unfolds. It's beautiful, and that's why we're talking about it, and why I think it's on the heels of Mother's Day. These are the frequencies I feel collectively as an intuitive visionary, as a planet, that we're healing. and why I've gone through my own divine feminine rebalancing and visionaries that I've had in my dreams and the visions I've had in my dreams as a co-creator, as a divine feminine, as an intelligent divine feminine coming forward to assist in the co-creation of offering in the musings of the Christed potentialities for humanity. And it's profound that a divine feminine can come forward, and all the divine feminines that come forward in this way to assist in the rebalancing, as also the divine males that are coming forward as well, balancing their divine male and female frequencies, and how sacred a relationship it is within oneself first. And so, I mean, we could expand on forever and ever and ever. We're going to have many, many shows about this, but there's a reason why we're unfolding in these very powerful and very sacred energies, and they're beautiful. They're beautiful, and they're lovely. They're very soft and lovely. They're soft and loving intentions to promote, to usher, to inspire, to empower sacred living. And that's how we see these new earth frequencies, new earth consciousness, future contact, future landings. They're sacred experiences. I remember years ago when we first started our radio show, and our book, our number one book, I had the message throughout our book one, and we've got our third edition coming up on Amazon very soon. But I was very specific and very determined in book one message about humility and reverence for energetic work, for beings as awakened, divine energetic beings. And it was very poignant for me because the first opening into your mastery and into your Christhood is reverence and humility. Because you see and you experience the all in such a sacred way, because it's you feel the vastness of the soil, and there's nothing small about it, you know. And I remember the rock consciousness coming through, and the rock consciousness in our human understandings and the human behaviors that we've had, well, it's just rocks, if you will. And many of us have had those experiences in many lifetimes. But when you're ready to open up to the beauty and the elegance and the sacredness of rocks, as we did last week with our crystal alignment, you see the profundity of the energy that moves through all things, if you so desire. Again, it's the right use of free will. There is the elegance and the divinity within all things, if you so desire to swim within it, dance within it in a sacred way. If you intend to open your divine sacred heart and just create that childlike excitement to see all things as new, to see all things as beautiful and awe-inspiring, you're quickly and beautifully amazed and tickled and humbled, and all things you have great reverence for and live within. And so this is the changing vibration. These are the dynamics that we're shifting into. And if we allow ourselves to align within these very expansive and vast frequencies, you feel the centeredness that's always there. You soften, you quiet, and you're just open to the all, and the all flows through you. And so those are vibrations, and those are resonant frequencies that will allow you to feel within you're living sacredly. And it's the gratitude and the reverence within the all. Your reverence to see and to feel and to experience the soil beneath your feet as you walk in a new way, in a sacred way. As you move through the forest in a sacred way. So we allow you to go forward, for those who so desire, that feel excited to do so, with their Gaia Speak skills and gifts and talents. Many of you have come forward. They're showing me many different planets that many of you have come forward for. Now there's many, many more coming through, so thank you. Divine councils of vision, thank you. Many of the planets, and they're coming through very, very fast, that many of you will awaken to. They're showing me visionaries. So many of you will awaken to, as you enter into nature, your visionary skills within nature. So you may see and feel things in a different way. And we're talking multidimensionally. And so we're going to open up to this within the chambers right now. I'm opening up to a chamber message. Allow your divine sacred hearts to open up. For this is a multidimensional message, and we're going to try and put it into words that we can understand in this way. Our sensing, our multidimensional sensing as the Christed beings of light that we are, will awaken in new ways, and so that it may be in layers of information, if you will, layers of frequencies, if you will, layers of packets of information that are sent through the energy fields, the multidimensional fields of all that you are, and how you may awaken these to call online, to bring forward, to as if it's something that's on a shelf and you're just bringing it down, if you will. That's what I see. Many threads of information, and there's little packets of information on shelves, and you're just going to bring it forward because you're ready. And nature will activate you and ignite you and initiate you in this way. You might be in nature, and you might close your eyes in stillness and breath and initiate the sacred living, the sacred communion in this way. Call forward, as we did with the crystals and the initiation that we did last week, to gift you remembrance, to gift you your vibration resonance of humility and reverence and awe in that moment, because that aligns you with your sacredness. That aligns you with the God vibration that allows that frequency of communication and information and wisdom and intelligence to live through you. So you're opening and you're allowing yourself to attune all that you are as a divine being of light, to know that you're a sacred vessel, you're a temple of light, you're a temple of inner light. And as your temple is attuned in this way, you can walk within nature and ask and call it forward and take that information down from that quantum vibrational shelf, if you will, and have it come active in this now moment. For all things are already now. It's when we're in that quantum space of inner knowing, it's when we're in that quantum space of self-love and sacredness that that information becomes available and can live through us, because it's that high frequency that is required. Do you see what we're saying here, dear ones? The frequency that you attune your vessel, your sacred temple to, and how you live in a sacred manner, those frequencies are directly in match of the sacred intelligence and the sacred wisdom that already exists within you. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? And in those moments of sacred awe, or those moments of sacred moving about the forest as if you're a child in wonderment, and in divine awe, and pondering at her gifts and her blessings, that you open up the portal of light and wisdom that is God frequency in all things. But it's a vibration so much so that that packet of wisdom is gifted through you. And you may close your eyes and you may see things in a multi-layered, multi-dimensional perspective. Feel it, sense it, know it. Just that inner knowing. And oftentimes, and get ready for this, you will not know how to put it into words, and celebrate it. Be in joy, dance, sing. And creation will sing with you. This is what we are allowing you to understand in this moment, dear lighted ones, as we are threaded as one. Through the etheric chambers, we come to you from many different dimensional frequencies. Many different dimensions and beings speaking to you in this moment, through you and with you, for the celebration that we all experience as one. When you're feeling the resonant vibration of remembrance of what we've just said, what we've offered through your hearts are ready. Do you see what we're saying? Your hearts were ready for that. Your hearts were ready to entangle in a sacred way and commune in new ways. And we merely offered it forward as a vibrational, multidimensional story for Joanna to put into words that she has, moving in her sacred awe of this moment, pulling her words and pulling words from here and words from there and visions and perspectives so that she can put it in the best story possible for you. So that as you walk through that forest floor and your hearts are open, dear lighted ones, you may be reminded of the frequency of God that lives through you, that's resonating, pulsating from your energy mechanisms, from your divine sacred heart, from your electromagnetic field and your chakras, pulsating out for that intention of soft and loving sacred play. And you close your eyes and you sit upon a beautiful stump of a tree or a rock. And you take a few deep breaths as you align with the all. And you begin to see things or know things or hear things in ways that you've never experienced before. For you have opened a quantum portal to you. This is sacred relationship, dear lighted ones. And as you walk about the forest and you move about in your day, and you create grand celebration, grand gratitude and appreciation for what you've just experienced. Oftentimes, some of you wait all week to have your hearts open this wide and to commune and entangle in such a way. However, we allow you to understand that many of you have neighbors, many of you sit next to people at work that are desiring the same communion that you are in this moment. And just a smile to say, wow, I experienced something amazing. Would you like to hear about it? A simple conversation, a simple offering like that about you and your God state can be put into whatever words excite you. For there are no accidents why those are next to you, are there? There's no accidents to why you are where you are right now, is it? You've threaded yourself this way, and the myriads of you are coming through the etheric chambers as we speak, tickling you with the light of what you already know. Divine masters of light, so quantum in your hearts, to co-create in this way and to see humanity, to see a earth threaded with such love and joy for one another, and to see the true spirit of Gaia sing to you, sing through you, as creation sings through you. And these new quantum spirals through matrices of light and tone, spinning something new that words simply cannot explain. But here you are, allowing all resistance to be transmuted into what is dynamic, real, godly vibrations of co-creation. And how these vibrations right now, dear lighted ones, are the vibrations through which we infuse reality potentials. And why Joanna comes off so often forward with her delight in light wisdom or healing experience, where it's gone through its back and forth with names and what it may or could be, just releasing it to creation and just having an experience for those to entangle with remotely or physically, multidimensionally, in whatever way they so desire to co-create with light, sending it out to creation in the most beautiful invitation for the hearts of the all to entangle and thread with. As we prepare our hearts and our multidimensional bodies and our multidimensional way of living in a sacred way, as the Divine and Holy Mother offers through each and every one of us, that we soften just a little and we let go just a little more. And we still ourselves just long enough to hear the whispers of God, to be reminded that the most important moment is now. And oftentimes, the most important thing you can do is just be still and quiet. For it's the essence, it's the portal to all sacred living. And you are reminded in every way that as you walk and you breathe and you live and you intend softly and lovingly and as a child to live in the sacred way, so too is it mirrored to you in all ways. And you are reminded of your intelligence beyond what words can explain. And that's okay. For we're living vibrationally now, multidimensionally, multi-layered, multi-pulsations, multi-threadings. And there just are no words to explain this. Simultaneously in the same moment, your hearts are open in this moment of now, intuitively just threading potentialities of love, because it just feels so good to be in this sacred moment of self-love. And your body is communicating, and your heart is communicating as the vessel of light that it is, the mechanism of God that it is communicating beyond what you know. And if you consciously infuse just a loving intent, and you infuse color of love and light and tone and sound of joy and serenity and peace and calm for the all, that profound ripple of light and loving intention, benevolently gifted, lives through you in such miraculous ways, and it will be returned in kind. So may your heart soften, dear lighted ones. May you rest. And may you nourish yourselves and your bodies so very tired. Your bodies are speaking to you, multidimensionally in all ways, of the rest that you need, of the food that you need, of the time in nature that you need. And each and every one of you are different. For these needs are the threadings of your soul mapping, your consciousness mapping. Your consciousness mapping to the all of that you are within creation, all realms, all threads, all vibrations, all forms. For you are a particle of God, are you not? And in this acknowledgement, in this acceptance, your heart opens. And you soften to say, yeah, I could just go for a bit of a rest today. How about we lay under a tree, get us a basket of some fruit, and we just rest. And acting in these beautiful inspirations through your heart, you'll always be shown the highest vibratory action of passion in that moment. And it serves your consciousness. The map of all of you, it is served. Make no mistake about that. And the versions of you will gift you with celebration and joy as you take upon those beautiful inspirations and you serve the soul, the greater soul of all that you are. For unity consciousness is now that all that you are, all that you say, all that you do affects the all. And taking those quiet moments of peace and serenity and joy, acting upon your Christed passion just to rest and nurture your bodies in new ways, the all of you will show you in celebration, and a beautiful butterfly lands upon your shoulder. As you softly fall asleep, as you softly feel nourished by Gaia as you nourish her with love and gentleness and sacredness. And in these playful moments and soft moments of musing, dear lighted ones, we offer human potentiality in ways that shift the frequency upon the earth, in the soils, in the water, so that you may awaken to the masters that you have always been. And bless yourself over and over and over again for being right where you are. Bless yourself, dear ones, for being right where you are, for being exactly who you are, for the consciousness map of you celebrates you beyond what you know or what you can feel just yet. But I promise you, we promise you, you will feel it in every way. Oh, we hold you sacred, dear lighted ones. For you are the human earth version of us. You walk your path and you walk on the streets and you walk in the forests. And you co-create such a beautiful earthly experience that at times we have no ways of imagining what you co-create with your light and your devotion to live beautifully. And we are in sacred awe of you, dear sacred human, in your human form, versions of us. May you always follow your heart, O divine sacred versions of us. For your human bodies, your human temples, your human souls are a part of us. And we love you and we honor you. Divine sacred family of light. Ooh. As I've often said, sometimes the frequencies of entanglement and the frequencies of divine sacred love are oftentimes, the words just don't come forward. And that's when I take those moments of sacred pause and in my awe of being a part of the co-creation and a part of the sacred story. Whew. There are just no words. And so our hearts are open to allow you just a moment of how beautifully sacred you are upon this earth, within this beautiful earth story that we are co-creating. And may we ground this into the sounds and soils of Gaia, threaded to her very heartbeat as sacred divine beings of light that we are in human form, threaded with our universal families of light and consciousness in all ways, in all threads and all frequencies, divine and heavenly God living through us. Amen. Thank you, dear lighted ones, as we move through divine frequencies of allowance, divine frequencies of surrender within all that we are as consciously awakening beings of light in human form, as we are preparing for divine sacred relationship and first contact, and why many of you will be having beautiful dreams, preparing you for these co-creations of lucid contact. That's what I've felt, is it's lucid contact, because you can wake up in the morning and feel as if you're having, you've just had a contact experience, and or you can see yourself. What happened to me this week is I had a dream, and I was seeing myself on another planetary thread, and as I woke up, I felt and I was hearing the communication still take place in my multidimensional capacity. And that's how we are all awakening, as the council chambers had allowed us to remember, is that as we walk about the forest, as we walk about our excitements and our passions, and we're entangling in that childlike way, we're opening the door for all of those multidimensional communications that will serve us as well as we serve it through us in our creative Christed expressions, how we gift it back, if you will. But we're understanding our communication and how we communicate, how we receive communications, how we interpret communications, how we discern information is going to be taken to a grander multidimensional level. And so thank you to all of the frequencies with us today and moving with us in this moment of now. We wanted to open up the chat line. We wanted to open up your comments, your experiences that you've had with divine sacred relationship. Any of you that had an experience with the divine crystals, that we had an experience last week where we aligned with, we prepared you before the first half of the show to have a crystal and intend it with soft and loving intent to wash it under the waters of the white diamond light of waters of Christ, and just clear the crystal. And then we did an invocation, we did an initiation at the second half of the show last week. And we allowed just many of you to be reminded of, for those who so desire, and for those that are excited about crystals, many of you work with crystals already, to just be reminded of how beautiful and elegant and how sacred the relationship is and the communion is with Gaia and all of her offerings and all of creational offerings. And so last week we offered an intention and an invocation as to how to sacredly communicate with crystals. And so we wanted to open up the last 20 minutes here, if you will, and today's gone by so very fast. Oftentimes when I'm in my sacred passionate state in my channeling, I'm not looking at the time and I'm not looking at the screen because my eyes are closed because I'm in that visionary state. And so I don't look at the time and what time has passed. So there is 20 minutes left, and we would love to commune with you. We would love to sacredly entangle with you. For any of those that would like to pose a question about divine sacred relationship, divine sacred entanglement with crystals, and how communication will be opening up in new ways for so many of us, as well as our relationship. And we're seeing relationships, this has been a big word lately, the relationship with our whole planet as a collective, but the relationship within our divine sacred family, and how we see things changing and unfolding every day with the ones that we love, friends and family and people that we work with. And the sacred relationship that we feel as light workers and as ambassadors of light, that we can hold the space for those changes. And simply just emitting our Christed light and emitting the standing within our own light and standing within our own sacredness allows for the space of others to move through what they need to move through. And that's the right use of divine will. Knowing when to act in divine will and when to allow, and it's the allowance of all paths in all ways. But oftentimes, many experiences that many of us are having is just the allowance and the surrender to allow all paths to unfold as they will, and knowing that you create that sacred space and that sacred light just to kind of hold space at times most often, because it's changing so very fast and so very dramatically. And so that's how we create the understanding of divine sacred relationship, the sacredness of you first. Because to open up to divine sacred communion in crystals, or communion with the forests, or communion with the fairies and the elementals and the many myriad of consciousness that Gaia offers just within a forest, if you will, let alone all else that she offers in nature speaking. It's a sacred relationship that you're intending softly and lovingly from your heart, and why that is a divine mother frequency. And why it will be so very important, why we're balancing this as a planet. Because I was shown as, we're going back to the Venusians, so thank you. So please feel free to write in your comments, to feel free to write in your experiences if you've had any this week with crystals, if you've noticed any of your sacred relationship communions or communications change or alter or shift. So please feel free to bring them forward. And we're going to go to the Venusians, coming back into the frequency now as the planetary perspective. So I'm seeing Venus helping Gaia in this way, and Sirius is coming into the picture as well. They're galactic alignments. They're galactic alignments with our positioning within our galaxy, but also vibrationally and interdimensionally. There's vibrational shifts that are going on, and why we feel the way we do, why we're healing the way we are healing, why we're having the dreams that we're having, for balancing, for rebalancing, because many of these relationships, sacred relationship, are on and in other planet timelines. And so we know this about the Akash. The Akash is multidimensional, all experiences, all timelines, all Christ at essence. As we awaken to our more vastness, Christ at essence, our universality, we're moving within the frequencies of all star systems and all planets. And it's part of the blueprint of Venus. It's part of the blueprint of Sirius and the Pleiades, along with many other planets within our galaxy that are assisting in their own unique way. And we're moving back within, thank you, I'm sensing, this is beautiful, this is lovely, so thank you. I'm sensing a beautiful galactic presence. The galaxy of the Milky Way, if you will, is coming through as a collective, so this is lovely. The galaxy as a collective is the blueprint, and it's showing, like, if you will, a Mother, Father, God galaxy experience. And the children are the planets, if you will. And each planet has a vibratory resonance, a vibratory blueprint, destiny, if you will, role, excitement, passion. And so too, this is God gifting us, thank you, Divine Mother, Father, God gifting this experience so that we can express and explain how it feels within our own dynamic household. And so they're all holographic. They're reminding me that these are holographic images that they're gifting me multidimensionally so that I may explain that what we are moving through as a planet ripples up to and out into the divine sacred relationship within our galaxy, within the divine sacred relationship that each planet has with one another, within the divine sacred relationship that each planet's blueprint has within each planet's blueprint within the galaxy, within the multidimensional and interdimensional shifts of other galaxies. So I'm seeing other galaxies and other galaxies out to the end of creation, if you will, if you can imagine. Although it's not linear. So they're reminding me it's not linear. We're just explaining it to you because our words are linear, but the vibrations are not linear. And this is why it's so very beautiful and very elegant in ways that coming forward with words and energies that are multidimensional right now. So just give me a second. These are multidimensional experiences that we are living simultaneously now, multidimensional frequencies, that we can know how beautiful and elegant this now moment is, and how threaded we are within the all, and how supported we are, and how loved we are, and how cradled we are. There was another story going on, but I just don't have the words to explain what they're giving me. So this is lovely. This is beautiful that we're doing this live as we speak, because it's allowing you to be a part of the story, because your hearts are threaded with this multidimensional gifting. So if one of you gets the story in a dream or in a meditation, feel free to connect with us next week on the show and bring forward your observations. because this is how we thread. This is how we expand creation. It's evolution. As we talked about many shows ago, they're reminding me about that show where many light workers would go to a class that they're excited about. And there would be, say, a toning teacher, and the toning teacher would be at the front of the class, and this toning teacher, is beautifully offering her shamanic gifts as a toner, as a light worker, and as a healer. And she's explaining something very beautiful, or he's explaining something very beautiful, and offers the class a lesson. And just in that beautiful dynamic offering where we're reaching a spiritual maturity through which the human collective in the class is saying, well, I'm a beautiful toner too, and I'm just really inspired to offer my Christed light in this moment of now. I'm just so excited to offer it, and I feel it will be a beautiful blessing for what we're co-creating. And then that student stands up and also gifts forward. This is how the synchronicity and the interplay of Christed passion, your Christed excitement, living in sacred ways, living in your sacred trust and honor of who you are. These are all different parables. These are all different offerings. These are all different creative musings and different stories, if you will, to allow you to see how truly threaded and dynamically perfect the orchestration is. Incredibly perfect, dynamic orchestration of God. So trust it. Trust in your excitement when you're excited to walk within the forest, because each and every one of you, they're showing me someone stepping on the forest, and it's really rich, beautiful, kind of sawdusty type soil. And one of you is stepping on the soil, and you will be immediately reminded of what you know about the forest. And you'll hear stories of the trees. You'll feel into, and play with that as the child of God that you are. Dance and sing and play and twirl in the forest. These are moments in which our human paradigm is redefined. And there's celebration, and there's beautiful joy, and there's beautiful laughter. It's like a beautiful party in the etheric chamber. So thank you. So many of your hearts are just celebrating. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They're telling you thank you. These are your higher selves wanting me to gift you a message, all of you that are listening. When we see visualizations like this, these are your higher selves speaking through me, through Joanna. So when we see experiences as this is new for you as a human collective, to speak with us in this way, the all higher selves of all you coming together as a collective, to speak with you in this manner through which your comfort level, your hearts are open, and you're all beautifully ready to co-create in the beautiful Christed light that you are, and you're trusting, and you're so open because you're comfortable with one another in this sacred etheric chamber that you've all co-created through your loving and soft intention to live in a sacred way. Your hearts know it's possible. Your higher selves are here celebrating you and cheering you on. We're coming through Joanna to allow you to this beautiful, loving experience that your higher selves are cheering. You're saying, yay, beautiful celebration, and all of the etheric ways that we're able to offer and remind you, and your bodies are giving you goosebumps, and you're feeling things within these God frequencies. These are the Christed validations, dear ones. These are the God validations. These are the miracles and the majesties that allow you to step into new frequencies of potential. So this is new for you. So they're saying get used to it. Get used to these conversations running in more of a multidimensional, more of an open heart, dynamic way of co-creating. For these are the moments through which creative Christed energy truly goes into a new level of excitement, of passion, of joy, of awe. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? And the higher selves of you are just so very... what's the word? Appreciative of your devotion in creating you. To see yourselves in new ways, to honor who you are in a beautiful, sacred way. So thank you. It was lovely, and thank you for all of your hearts being open and ready so that we can bring forward these multidimensional messages that are new every week. So I value and I appreciate you. And you are all my soul brethren, and you're all my star brothers and sisters that thread with us etherically and energetically for the common unity consciousness light of all that is living through us in all moments, that we thread and we thread and we thread and we thread again. So thank you. Thank you, etheric chambers, and all the energies and essences with us right now. So we have a beautiful comment from our listenership. Thank you. Samantha from Utah. I was listening to your show and went to a local crystal store because I wanted to have more vivid dreams and remember them. The lady at the store recommended strawberry quartz and howlite. The past few days of sleep have been incredible, but more importantly, my dreams have been so detailed. Thank you for the crystal show. I have found a new store and getting hooked on crystals. And thank you for that comment. And crystals, And so I'm showing a beautiful, lovely play with you and crystals, and I'm seeing a pink crystal. It's kind of more like a rose quartz. I see more of a rose quartz. Whether this is a crystal that's coming into your consciousness or not, or maybe it's one that's already with you. But there's very beautiful, soft, divine, feminine play with this crystal, and it's more, I feel like more of a fairy energy. But it's very delightful, very playful, childlike energy coming from this crystal. And this crystal is reminding you of this sacred play and this joyful play that crystals have. And they can invoke play. So please, feel free to, it invokes that passageway of information to live through you. Again, we always say through you because it truly is. We often say that things come to you, but they don't. And we often say that because it's the words that we mean, or the words that we have. When I say being downloaded, it's already within me. It's already in the energy field. It's already now, just as it's all within you. It's all now. We're just allowing that open space of the heart where that divine wisdom can then be pulled forward, be plucked, if you will, or interpreted, or in many ways interpreted, because we just don't have words for what we're seeing and experiencing. But for you in particular, it's about play. So the more playful you are as a child, as a fairy, as envisioning yourself truly playing with the sacredness of crystals and how they assist in that playful entanglement with Gaia. So connect play and the entanglement with Gaia in a rich way, in the childlike wonderment way. When you go to a new, I remember my kids, every time we go to a new park, they're so excited. It's their time to play and get to know and be in awe of discovery. And it's that element of discovery. And the crystals are speaking with you right now. If you'd like to commune with an open heart in this, your crystals are saying that it's the element of discovery. It's the element of you. It's the element of awe of you within it. You are within that crystal. And they're saying, do you know what we mean? Do you know what we mean? And they're like little children playing with you. And these crystals are saying, do you know what we mean? You're inside of us. And we're inside of you. It's this quantum communication that they get. The physical part of it is just our story that we're moving through, because we're transforming physicality. The physical is a part of that alchemic equation. That's the part we're transforming. We transform it, we create it first through the alchemy of that quantum inner knowing, that inner faith, that inner God essence. The essence of God is how you quantumly shift and change everything, whether it be bilocation, whether it be teleportation, whether it be creating from thought a beautiful love and light healing center where the world can converge, and families and children, and the idea and the understanding and the rebalancing of the multidimensional bodies can be taught as an everyday understanding and everyday knowing and notion, so that we walk forward in our balanced male and female frequencies of divinehood. And we co-create in our most excited, Christed way, and we entangle sacredly with crystals and with rocks and with earth and soil consciousness, so that we rebalance the galactic and the planetary and the collective beauty that we're here to entangle and engage with and dance within. And so it's wonderful. It's beautiful. And so thank you, dear one. You've opened up a beautiful remembrance of who you are with crystals, of how beautiful and entangled you already are with them. And so they're like saying that they were waiting for you. They knew there was conversations with the higher self, and they were waiting for you to come into the store. And so there's no accidents on the crystals that you choose. And there are crystals that I've chosen. And I gift many crystals away. I either have them at events or I gift them in private sessions. And I gift them to my kids, and I gift them back to Gaia. Because the crystals will give you their ideas of their cycles. And when it's ready to move on, or they'll speak to you and they'll say, I'm meant to be placed here by the window. I'm meant to be placed here over here by a plant. Because sometimes those crystals help the plants as well. And the plants help the crystals. So just know that there's a quantum bedding of communication that's constantly going on. And the more open you are in your childlike wonder and play, the more open that you are within all that you are as a divine God being. So thank you, Samantha from Utah. And Freda, thank you, Freda, your divine soul being. I wanted to ask if there's anything that you needed clarity on at this time. So they're saying that you're quantumly moving on your path. They're showing me that you're very devoted and you're consciously putting energy into your desires. And so they're allowing you to just rest and relax and just let go of the elastic, if you will. And things are falling into place. Oftentimes, for many of us, so Freda, you're a dear soul, and thank you. And so oftentimes for many of us, we're so devoted and we have such frequencies of assistance and servitude that we forget how to let go sometimes. And that letting go, that surrender, is knowing that creation has your quantum particles already taking place and things are already shifting. What oftentimes is required, and why we're talking about what we're talking about more recently, is divine sacred relationship, is that softening and falling in love with you, so that that flow of God that lives through you when the divine timing is appropriate, because each and every one of us have divine timing when those miracles and majesties live through you, because oftentimes they're threaded with other things and other people. Other things and other people have to fall into their place for things to fall through. But just know that they're coming forward to say that yours is a divine timing, and yours is, there's enough quantum baskets that you've placed in creation. And so for you to soften and really truly just enjoy who you are right now and rest and enjoy your lovelihood, rest and enjoy your essence of guardianship. You know, guardianship is your energy with you, and you're a great ambassador of Gaia energy. You're a great ambassador of Gaia space. And it's very appreciated. It's very loved. It's very honored. And so there are times where, many times, more often than not, that you may think as human beings, rest and allow yourself to be loved. Rest and allow yourself to be cared for. Rest and allow yourself to soften into and just let go. Surrender is so very important to self-love. Surrender into allowing someone to open your heart and say you're loved. And this is why we said what we said at the beginning of the show when we went into our channel. You are so very loved and supported, and your higher selves and your teams and creation is hugging you and embracing you in every way that's possible. And we often get so busy with our part of the creation part of it, the doing, that we often forget to simply just soften into being and soften into the allowance of the God that is already. So thank you, dear lighted ones. And thank you, dear soul partners and soul tribe, for your energies and for your light of all that you are. And thank you for communing. When we put forward our offerings to commune with us, it truly does expand the all, because the things that you're feeling and sensing are also things that others are feeling and sensing and going through as well. So I appreciate and I value and I validate all of your sharing. So thank you so much. And tune in next week as we go farther, deeper, and wider on divine relationship, and we celebrate the Divine Mother Weekend. So thank you. This is Joanna from Universal Unity. Namaste. Thank you for joining us for this beautiful co-creation of love and light wisdom. May you go forward in a beautiful way as you enjoy these offerings, as you explore the God within, as you experience and express the God within. Open your hearts, dear lighted ones, and may we always co-create in love, divine harmony and balance and bliss with one another and all that is. Thank you for joining us.